Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Sunday Paranormal Brew Show. I'm Nighthawk, your host. We have Eric, and we have our special guest today, Amanda, backstage, patiently waiting. And hopefully she's got her Wakully up, be all set to drink and join us in a nice chat this morning about ghost hunting, whatever you want to call it, paranormal investigations, haunted locations, and haunted objects is going to be pretty much, some of the topic here today. So without further ado, I'm going to get to the disclaimer, and then we're going to bring them in, and then I'm going to have Amanda introduce herself to everybody, if I could talk this morning. So the copyright disclaimer is this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976 that I have on the bottom of the screen there, YouTube, just so you know. So don't try to take this one from me either. All right. The disclaimer is Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content, including the music, to be used for the sole purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, which I love because we're all SNL fans, and of course, entertainment value per Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. All right, YouTube, that should do it for you. And I'm going to take this down, and you can see all of our bright, shiny faces. I know it's early where Amanda's at, so God bless her for wanting to come on so early. Hopefully she's got her coffee real close by and chowed down to food and is ready to go, because we got some questions, and we're going to get into, like I said, the haunted objects and the haunted locations. So, good morning, Amanda and Eric.
Good morning.
Hola.
Hola.
Are you ready?
Oh God, he's got to play with his new toy, Amanda. I apologize.
I had to get you because you got me good this morning when I was listening to that video from the investigation the other night. Oh my gosh!
I had my coffee pot on.
Yeah.
I had my coffee pot on, Amanda, and it was percolating because I always have my coffee pot right next to my studio here, and I drink a lot of coffee. Coffee's like my elixir of life with my cancers and stuff. So, but the noise from the coffee pot gave him quite the startle.
Nice.
I was going over.
I know the noise.
I was going over. Yeah, I was going over some video from the investigation I did the other night, and when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh man, I got something to play with my mic." I'm like, "It's cool." Didn't hurt. I was like, "Oh, William, you're on."
Well, everybody, this is my native sister from. You're in Canada too, aren't you?
I'm in Canada. Yes, yeah, Canada.
Yeah,
Vancouver.
so that's Vancouver. God, I've always wanted to be there. Never been to Vancouver. I've been all over the world, but I've never been to Vancouver.
Yeah, I tell everyone, get up here, come up. Yeah, it's quite great. I'm actually in New Westminster. It's a beautiful part of the world, so I'm very lucky to live here. Unlucky at the prices of the costs to live here, but other than that, it's pretty great.
Yeah, we've my wife Tracy and I follow a guy from Vancouver Island, and he was from Vancouver there in BC originally. And he's a disc jockey or a DJ, and he does a lot of music and stuff. But he also does a van life. He lives in his van.
Oh, cool.
And he just started his own. Yeah, he just started his own business there on Vancouver Island, and it's going pretty good. His name's Chrome, and Chrome, if you're listening, brother, give Cruzy a hug. Cruzy's his bulldog. So.
Oh, nice. I thought about the van life for a while.
Yeah. Tracy and I, we wanted to do that, but things are so expensive nowadays. It's incredible. I don't think I'd be able to afford it. So, but it's still interesting subject. But Amanda, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and who you're affiliated with, and all that, and we'll get into the Q&A, and then we'll see what the audience has to say and go from there.
The Q&A with AQ, as I say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm with Cold Spotters Paranormal. We were founded up here in New Westminster, Vancouver. And we have teams all over the world now. So it's pretty cool. We're more of a network than a giant team. Those are a network of teams. But our team in Vancouver, we're probably there's 10 of us going strong. And then we have our a subsection of that team being our Indigenous Cold Spotters, where it's we're a team of Indigenous who kind of go in and fight crime. No, we're Batman. Yeah. That's my intro. Yeah, I'm Batman. Yeah. Batmanda. Yeah.
Send the white man back to Europe.
Exactly. So it's kind of we decided that we would we also found that people were really kind of almost intrigued when they heard that it was like Indigenous led, and I was like, what is that? Like, why are we intrigued about what the culture of someone is? And but it was always the Indigenous. Oh, it's the Indigenous investigator coming, and we're like, yeah, we're always coming. Like, we're just like, what are you talking about? Like, and so we decided to kind of make this little team that we have of all Indigenous people, and it's just taken off. It's it's just a different kind of look at it, a different perspective, and we really go in with our traditions, and we go in and we treat things traditionally. Whereas with the investigation, we're kind of cut and dry, doing everything properly. Not to say that we don't do it properly, but it's just a different kind of style. Yeah.
And I'm sure, like me, you probably, being Indigenous, probably grew up basically around a lot of the legends and the storytelling and stuff, and probably did a lot of the ceremony and stuff, like the Sweat Lodge, the Inipi, and Humblacia and all that. As far as native roots go, our heritage. But native people have always had an element with the supernatural, to say the least, in their culture, in our family histories, interacting with spirit. And I found that very fascinating that you guys have your own, Cold Spotters Paranormal all around the world. And that's why, not only are you a sister to me, but you're a dear friend, but also you're very interesting to hear some of the tales and stuff that you've experienced doing what you do. Now, I know when I was growing up, I kind of grew up with the dark part of the arts of being Indigenous. My mother was a black witch, and she basically taught me all the dark ceremonies and stuff growing up. But my father would teach me, some of the legends and the storytelling and the Inipis and stuff like that growing up too. So I got both of them, but I got the majority of the dark magic, and wasn't a really great start to being born. Let's put it that way. So I've been through a lot, and I just want to know what you've been through as far as, investigations, and I got a couple questions. Okay. Nothing major, nothing to freak out about. But let me break out my list.
Nice. Well, it's like with me, like, just real quickly, I actually didn't grow up with my culture because I was part of the 60 Scoop, which up in Canada, there was practice where Indigenous children were taken from their families and raised outside the culture. A lot of us were kind of shipped overseas or into the States, just far enough away from our families that we didn't have that culture. So I was adopted to Scotland. And I had a grandfather in Scotland who was obsessed with ghost stories, or just more obsessed with history and teaching of the history and teaching of all the tales. So if I wanted to learn the stories of Anne Boleyn as a ghost, I had to learn all the stories of Anne Boleyn. If I wanted to learn stories of the ghosts in where have you? I had to learn about the building. I had to learn about the styles. I had to learn about everything to do with the history first. And once I could take that to my grandfather and show him that I knew where this place was and what happened there, he would tell me the ghost story. So it was kind of a little bit of work for the reward, but it really kind of taught me how I do things now, and taking into consideration the history of the land and history of buildings. But coming back to Canada, I still had that fascination with ghost stories, and I believe I came across a book in the library, and it was all about ghost hunting, and I was like, I think I was 8 years old, and I was so confused. I was like, this is a thing? Like their ghosts are real? Like, I just thought there were stories that I was, it was really cool, but I didn't know that they were real, and that's terrifying. And so that's what got me into starting to really investigate ghosts themselves. Now I have reunited with my family, and I have really embraced my culture. And the first thing that I was so nervous that they were going to find out I was a ghost hunter, and they're going to, what a weirdo and everything. And the first thing that they said was, it's like, oh, like, we see that you're a ghost hunter, you're with Cold Spotters. I was like, yes, I know it's kind of weird, it's more about the history and all. And there's like, no. They're like, there's one of you in every generation. We're just wondering where you were. And I was like, oh. So it's very, very common in my family to have this. And that's when I started to learn more of our traditions and be taught to look into the future generations and to work with those up and comings. So it's really quite it's quite a treat for me, and it's quite a lifelong journey that I thought what I was doing, because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what my culture was, and learning about all these legends and learning about the land, about buildings, about all around the world. It's such a for me, it's such a treat, but it's really part of who I am. It's part of my culture, and it's I was never taken from that. I thought I was lost this whole time, and I was exactly where I needed to be.
That's good. That's good. Well, you're back with your family. That's what counts. And to this day, I mean, my mother was actually taken as an infant from the reservation where she was born at, which was the Cherokee people. My mother was Cherokee and Shawnee, and my father was Oglala Lakota was my father, and honestly, my mother's upbringing, it was, she was raised by a preacher and his wife in West Virginia, of all places. And I guess that's where she started practicing a lot of the dark arts and stuff. Appalachian mountain chain has a lot of dark mystique, magic about it. And we have our mountain witchcraft up here, and all kinds of weird stuff. But I guess that's what got her into it. And then she, got back with her culture type of stuff and started learning that. And hence, when I was born, I got pulled into it. So at 3 years old, I had a near-death experience, and that kind of turned the volume up paranormal wise for me from about a 50 to 150 plus. You know how that goes. It's like connecting, another speaker to your sound system, and it just blows you away. So, but yeah, I got to ask you though, the one thing that Eric and I have always believed in, and one thing that we've always asked people, every time we meet them that are spirit, paranormal investigators, we always ask them how they feel about basically instigating or provoking spirit when they do the investigations. You see on TV all the time these investigators, being rude and basically calling them out, and then as soon as they call them out and the spirit gets angry, they're calling this demonic, that demonic, and this demonic. It's ridiculous.
It is.
How do you feel about provoking as far as investigations go?
Well, if you're looking into provoking, it's all about intention with any investigation, to be honest. And provoking also is it's a way that we live our lives. It's a way how we have rank in our life, or how we put ourselves in society too. So it's a way of communication. And I think if you're going to be a jerk, you're going to be a jerk, and you are a jerk, you know, regardless of if you're calling it provoking or not. So yeah, so there is a way to be assertive and to be demand attention, let's say, and to get that emotional response that you don't have to be a total jerk doing it. And I'm slowly moving over because the sun's coming up and I'm realizing that I'm getting blared out.
Oh.
So like, if you're wondering why I keep moving, I'm I'm just going to resettle. Here we go. No, I'm not back in there.
That's her. Everybody, don't let Amanda fool you now. Don't let Amanda fool you. Everybody in the chat watching, because that's her mystique magic when she's being indigenous. So that's what we call the mystique magic.
Yeah. It's the super.
Eric, would you like to ask a question?
Oh, sorry. I thought I heard something fall, and I was kind of looking for it for a second. Sorry about that. Well, I know for me, like I just got through doing a paranormal investigation of the Springfield Commercial Club here in Springfield, Missouri. I don't provoke, but what I try to do is, like, when it's very common for them to come to you and say, "Get out. I don't want you here." And then I stand my ground. I don't provoke. I was like, look, I got permission to be here. I'm going to be here. You know, you stand your ground. It's not really provoking. How I look at it, it's not provoking. It's just you stand your ground. No, I have permission to be here from the owners. The owners have the power of this place. So therefore, I am allowed to be here. Is that kind of something like you run into quite a bit?
That's a good question. I approach it a little bit differently. So I kind of go into it with the perspective of like what they're thinking and what just happened here. And what what are we looking at? What are we looking at, rather than like show me what there is? You know, it's more what are we looking at? Yeah. So it's not like I need permission with them because I'm there with them. So I try not to be so us against them, or it's like which is an odd thing. So I'll always go in. I call it lone wolfing, but I go in alone to a location, and I introduce myself, and I introduce my intentions and what I'm bringing the team in, and I introduce the team. But by doing that, I'm hoping that I'm at least like opening that communication. And if it's not, and we're not welcome in their home, and we will leave. But we won't leave so easily, right? So we do try to approach it in a different way than you have to let us here.
Yeah,
right.
Now for me, like,
your team, how many people? I'm just curious how many people you have in your team, Amanda. So
well, I have in the team that I'm working with right now, there's 3 of us actually. And every so often we have 3 or 4 or 5 of us. And then in my local team here, there's probably about 10 of us. So we kind of like trade in and out. But when we go to an investigation, I would say there's usually 5 to 6 of us that go. Mm-hmm. Unless it's our smaller team, then there's usually 3 of us, 3 to 4. Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I was just saying, for me, you know, usually I'm always telling them, like, hey, I'm sorry you feel this way, but I have permission to be here.
Yeah,
you know, so I can't, you know. And so one thing I like to do, because people have a very misunderstanding in how paranormal investigations go, because they watch that stupid boob tube and they think that, oh, you know, these guys do it on this boob tube, we're going to do it. No, I tell every time I come to somebody, I never charge them for an investigation. I never come in. I come in, I do this. If I make money on YouTube, great. If I don't, you know, it is what it is. I don't care. I don't do it for that. So I always tell them, like, look, I don't have the power in your home to remove anything. And I'm not going to say the groups. I watch certain groups do that stuff. You know, hey, if you want a way out, here's a way out. I don't have permission to do that from the owner. I can't do that. I don't have the power, because I was never given that permission to have that power in there. So that is one thing I like to tell people when I'm initially doing my first walk around, getting to feel the place, feel the energy. Usually, man, you can feel if that place is going to be heavy, if something's not pleasant there, if something is. A lot of the times, people don't realize when they're telling you get out, it's because you're not familiar with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to kind of stick it out with them. Hey, let's talk.
Yeah.
Let us talk, and then you'll be surprised how much communication comes from just saying, "Hey, I'm allowed to be here. Let's talk." I'm here to hear your story. Like I haven't revealed this yet, and I was kind of kicking around if I wanted to reveal this on this show or my show tonight, because I'm going to be hitting up quite a bit of what I did on that investigation. I asked the spirit because it said, "You're my son," something along that line. So I asked it. I said, "Can you communicate with our ancestors that are no longer alive?" And it said, "Sometimes." So that is something I've been trying to get confirmation of for a long time, and I finally got it. And I said, "Are you my relative?" And it said, "Yes." So I've always had this theory that, sometimes, because I've seen it when I've helped people several times, that their relatives, sometimes when they're no longer on this plane with us, they're on another plane, another dimension, whatever it is, people have different names for it. That's why that they're still with you. And I pretty much got that confirmation the other night.
Yeah, that's wild.
Is that
That's
something
awesome.
you guys, yeah. Is that something you guys ran into?
Absolutely, it is. I think we always keep it in our head that we're like, first and foremost, like, we're not there to prove to them that ghosts are real or anything like that. We're just there to give them options and to give them answers. And when it comes to answers, we're trying to bridge that gap. We're trying to bridge the gap and help the communication. We're not trying to get rid of or mute or quieten things. 9 times out of 10, when you said about removing spirit, what have you, I would say like 9.999% of the time, and not 9%, 99, whatever, a lot of the time, people don't want it to go. Like, people don't want, they just want to know if they're going crazy, or if there is other explanations for it. They want the energy there. If your house doesn't, have a ghost, it's got no spirit, kind of thing. Like, they don't really, it's really neat. And I think that we have to take the communication part of that seriously. And if we're going to be, going to find out what ghosts are, and we have the ability to communicate, then bridge that communication for the people on this side and the people in the spirit world. Like, we have a job to do, so let's do it well and let's do it right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
David has a question for you here. He says, "Amanda, has there been a specific investigation that gave you pause as to why you were there? Maybe not want to return again due to what you encountered?"
Yes, there actually is. And it wasn't a ghost. It was not a ghost. It was, I was looking for ghosts and happened upon a big furry creature, Sasquatch, also known as Bigfoot. It terrified me. Absolutely one of the most jarring, hair-raising, really, experiences of my life. And I've encountered said being a few times since there. Like, where I live is like very, very, very big for Bigfoot. There he is, my big furry guy. But it's wild. It's wild. But I really questioned what I was doing. I really questioned, like, kind of careful what you wish for kind of monument for me. And I didn't know if I would be able to move forward and to continue investigating if I can't even keep my cool, or like, it did terrify me. And also, another legend we have up here is like, I won't mention the name, but it's basically a sea serpent who will take you to the edge of death and show you, and it will leave you with the dread that you've never wished upon anyone in your life. And only a few can come back from that. And I'll tell you, it's like Nothing. This is the kind of thing that they it makes you believe in what you believe in, if that makes sense, and it makes you believe in it like fully and believe that you're doing what you're doing for the right reason. But at the same time, you question whether or not you should be doing it at all. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Maybe lights. The sun.
I just had it up. Or
Yeah.
David's like,
So
wow, we need to hear more about that
location
encounter.
goes, as far as far as locations go, though, you have your most favorite spot or location that you like to return to time and time again?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. That's right. Give her a second. I'm just glad it wasn't me. Because I thought my internet went out again. That's why I took a quick look down at the corner of my computer. It's like, crap, did my internet go out again?
Every time, though, we get
There
this
she is.
happening. That's
Yeah. The sun's beating her up. Yeah, David. Mine is too. It's like hitting that right spot. That's why I kind of move around a little bit, because I've got one little gap in my curtain, and it's in that spot right now. You're back.
I'm back. I was like, what happened? Yeah, the sun. I'm a vampire. There's proof right there.
The sun is trying to grace you with its love and embrace.
I know how lovely it is. It's so warm too, and it's so cold right now. In where we are, like we don't get really cold weather. We're the one part of Canada that we absolutely die when we see snow. It's actually atrocious how ill prepared for snow we are in Vancouver. But yeah, so like a nice warm sunny morning, it's great, but it's been getting really cold here. Like maybe minus, no, it's not minus. It never gets minus anything. But we're the wimpy part of Canada.
Your camera is not on.
Oh, good. Nope.
Yeah, Roxanne says I have an old man. Yeah, I have an old man ghost that has been with me since my daughter was little. He protected my daughter and me, and still around me. They protect her. He shows himself whenever there's a problem coming. Yeah, I remember that. You talk about that quite often, Roxanne. Yeah, she has an old man that follows her everywhere she goes.
Wow, it's amazing, like what we have for protectors. Like it is, and yeah, because sometimes like real people follow us around, and we need our protectors to follow us around too. So I'm so grateful for everyone who's around me and who protects me, because I need them. I need them a lot. Yeah. I saw someone saying.
Before you do an investigation, though, don't you ground yourself and protect yourself before you go in?
Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for this. No, my son does. He's really smart. He works with me quite a bit. He's really smart. He does. I usually will do it after, because I've always been of the thought of like, why mute the music you want to hear. And yeah, I used to not even really do cleansing after, and I've really paid the price for that because of everything that got stuck on me. It was like I got the gunk on me from investigations and doing what we do. It does take its toll on your health, on your relationships, on your everything. If you're not careful, then you're going to get gunked up. But no, before investigations, and maybe I shouldn't be saying that out loud, but I generally won't. My son, he's been teaching me lately. His thought pattern is he doesn't want to take his stuff into spirit. He doesn't want to take his stuff to anything that's gunked up his day. He's not going to take into that investigation. I'm like, that's a really healthy way of thinking, and it's like, maybe I need to learn from him. Yeah. So when they start teaching you, it's like, well, they always teach us, our children, but yeah, I haven't ever pre-grounded or which I should, but I don't know. Yeah, I probably.
Well, I mean, you do it the way you want to do it,
Yeah.
Yeah, you just do
Mhm.
what you want to do. Don't worry about what everybody else does or thinks,
No.
because that's where you get into the
Yeah.
old arguments and
Mhm.
stuff, and that's just not worth it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be
And
who
to
I
tell you
was.
the truth, that's a big
Mhm.
problem. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a big problem online too. Is you get so many people arguing back and forth with
Mhm.
the paranormal investigations they do or the cryptid investigations they do.
Mhm.
But you know, it's one thing to work with spirit and investigate spirit, but to live with spirit is another thing too. But I got to ask you, um, have you ever experienced like shadow people at all in any of your investigations?
Mhm. I have, and I've experienced them in my life. I went down the rabbit hole, and it's 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 one of those, like, when you see them, don't look, because you'll never unsee them, kind of thing. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna look. And it was absolutely mind blowing how much they're around, and how just right there they are. And yeah, so I do encounter them quite a bit. I don't as much as because I now I do follow the rules of not looking, don't look, kind of. They're in your peripheral for a reason. um I I've actually had some eye issues lately, so my peripheral vision isn't as great as it used to be. So I don't get to see them as much as I used to. But when I went blind, I went blind for about 6 months. I would see them as clear as anything, and I was like,
Mhm.
thank goodness I know what our brain does and what vision does. If I wasn't an investigator, I would have thought that I was just losing my mind, because things would just walk right up to me and look at me, and like, almost like, where did this person come from? Black dogs everywhere. It was
Yeah.
absolutely, like, interesting that it took me to lose my vision to actually start really seeing what was out there.
Hmm. Now, as far as basically working with spirit and stuff, um, have you ever had to deal with the supposed demon? I'm using air quotes, by the
Yeah.
way. The supposed demonic, type of entities at all?
I've dealt with difficult entities. I've dealt with some very aggressive entities. I've dealt with some very strong. I wouldn't say demonic. I did When I was younger. I did quite a deep dive into demonology and learning demonology. But I went through the church, and it was quite an undertaking, and it was yeah, it took so long. It definitely wasn't an online course, I'll tell you that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it was a very terrifying and eye-opening look into things. But it was also very, almost freeing, because I also understood what demons were, and like, the correlation of demons and angels, and seeing the belief system there. Um, do I think that people are doing that nowadays? No, and I don't think that anything that I see on TV is a demon, or you're gonna get rid of it, like, just like that, like, poof. Oh, I saw you're a demon. Go away. Solved.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, and it's like, what is a demon to you? So there's a
One
lot of
one thing that
things.
yeah, one thing that always fascinated me with everybody's demon encounters is they always
Mhm,
say they get scratched. And what amazes me is how we can get scratched when we're wearing clothing and it's actually under the clothing. So is spirit seeing us in like an energy type of a form, or like a shadow form? Like we
mhm,
see spirit every now and then. I mean, it's odd to me that they, how they can scratch us or harm
mhm,
anybody with marking their body without marking their clothing.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, like, right there. That's a great point. The only time I've ever been really, I mean, I've been touched. I've been, like, hair pulled. I've been goosed by a ghost, like, like, which is
Oh
pretty.
God.
Yeah. But the only time I've really been scratched, and like I would say almost harmed, not harmed, but scratched, was not at an investigation. It was when I was actually doing review, and I've been doing research into the case. I've been doing. It was basically we got an EVP of a female saying that he's coming back. He's coming back. He's going to get us, and it was kind of terrifying. The desperation in the voice was horrifying. And then we got a name, and we knew that there was a child killer in the area. Not at that time, like, decades before. And we looked into all the victims, and it was really heartbreaking case for us. And we couldn't find the name that we gotten. At one point during the research, as I was going through it, I found it was an Indigenous girl, and she didn't go by the name that they reported her missing as. She actually had a nickname, and the nickname was the name that we gotten. When I got to that point of the research, all of a sudden my arm just started burning, and I had an iPad in my hand, and I dropped it. I was like, oh, and there was like probably from about here all the way up to here, there was just a big, huge welted scratch. I was sitting there. I was completely alone. I was in my house. I wasn't near like the area or the location at all. And it just, so it was, at first I was like, is it something that was trying to stop me from figuring that out? Or was it maybe even like that desperation of the girl that I was now really working with, saying, yes, like, you got it. Like, just something stopping me right at that moment. It was,
Right.
yeah. So it's not always like, it's like, that's why I said like harm, like it didn't really harm me, but it's like, yeah, it did, manipulated me. It really hurt. It burned, but it was like, yeah, it was like this burning feeling. And I've never had anything like that, like before or after that too. Mm-hmm.
We have another question from the chat too. And this is kind of pertaining to what you just talked about. Amanda, during your investigations, have you ever been touched, and how often does it happen to you? And have you ever had adverse reactions to it?
That's a good question. Like the adverse reactions. I have been touched. Like I said, I've had my hair pulled. I have a tell. So when I feel like I know when activity is going to pick up, because it's almost like someone's grabbing my arm, and so I'm like, okay, something's about to happen. So usually it just gets my spidey senses up, or maybe that is my spidey senses, but it gets me more alert or more aware that something is with us. But now the goosing, I'll tell you that story real quick. There was another girl on the team, and us girls can be absolutely horrible to each other. So I will admit, I was like, yeah, you're just looking for attention. Because she came to us and was like, the ghost just goosed me. And I was like, ha ha ha, it's so funny. And I didn't really believe her. I was like, why would the ghost goose you and not me? Because, females are females. And then so I walked through the same room that she had just walked through, and I was just like, what's wrong with me? You don't want to goose me. But I was just kind of making fun of the situation, and I should have been more thoughtful, because I got goosed right in that moment. So I was just like, oh wow. And it was yeah, it definitely shut me the hell up. But yeah, other adverse reactions, sometimes I feel like when you get touched, or you get like your hair pulled, maybe there's a little bit more chance that something's with you or sticking on you, more gunk, let's say. So I will do more cleansing. I'll have that bath. I will ground. I ground outside an investigation quite a bit, but I find sometimes I'll need to leave an investigation to ground myself.
Yeah, Melissa replied, I've had my hair pulled here at our house. Oh, right at our house. And it was caught on video. I have been touched all my life.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember her putting that video out. You can watch it. Literally, her dog reacts, and all of a sudden her hair just goes.
Oh wow.
It was a wicked video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like one of the.
That
go ahead. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
I was just going to ask Amanda if you could. Amanda, could you wiggle your cable or connection for your camera, or something, because you're completely even there. We hear you, but we don't see you.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, let me see. It should just be. Am I here? No. Do you just see my picture?
I do there.
We can see your
Okay.
your icon picture there. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just see here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to test the camera thing.
You might have to sign out and sign back in.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
And
Yeah, it said it's not connecting to browser, so let me know. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
I'll
like
tell
for
you
me,
what,
one of the worst ones. Huh?
No, go ahead. Go
Go ahead,
ahead.
brother.
I'm sorry. We got
It's like,
a heck of a delay today.
no worries, bro. I understand. I'm pretty flexible. Well, I used to be. I'm too fluffy to be flexible now. But I remember one time I was in stationed in Canaway Bay, Hawaii, and I was asked to come into one of my boots' house because he had something very nasty dealing with him and his new wife in their house. And he was one of them guys who used to mess with me when he found out I did this type of stuff until he had an issue. And all of a sudden, hey, I need your help, type deal. Those type of people. But, it is what it is. And so I was dealing with this thing, trying to get, huh?
Roxanne says she's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I actually got slapped on my ass, and it left a huge, like really red freaking handprint on my ass. This thing wasn't friendly. Can you you can be flexible, don't sell your. I'm not as flexible as I used to be, Roxanne. You two been doing that to both start and stop and start again. Yeah. Yeah, Daryl, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, I've got a sunny day, so I don't know why mine, but my internet's been kind of in and out far as the plug in and the wireless. So that may be what's causing the delay.
Solar flares.
Probably.
Of course, it could be the fact that I ticked Google and YouTube off too, though. So you never know.
Yeah.
I can't believe I literally had to threaten to sue them yesterday to get my video back up.
Corey, I'm neither going to confirm or deny that comment. Oh, we got sun's out here, Roxanne. Yeah, it's nice. In one house that we lived in, I had to stop making fried chicken because every time I tried to make it, something would press on my shoulders as if someone was leaning over my shoulder as I cooked. Oh my gosh, Melissa. I was like, get off of me. I want some fried chicken.
Let me see if I have to send her another link. I'm going to try and send her another link just in case.
Yeah. Go ahead. She moved it that one time and went black, so I don't know. I hope she didn't break her cable.
Well, if not, we can still continue with the volume and just, keep the camera off. That way her little icon thing will pop up for her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good there. Yeah, that house was haunted. I would say so, man.
What'd you think about her experience with Bigfoot? Here she comes.
Dude, that's awesome. Oh, there she is, and her camera's working.
Woohoo!
There we go.
Oh. Where's she at?
I'm running back and forth.
There she is.
And I closed my blinds a bit. Yeah.
No worries.
Anyways, we were just talking about your Bigfoot encounter. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. that means that you are a definitely one that has the frequency and vibration to have all kinds of supernatural and paranormal encounters. It doesn't surprise me at all, to tell you the truth, especially with
Mhm.
your bloodline. So I've had so many interactions with the big brother that it's ridiculous. I can't even count the number of times, to tell you the truth, especially growing up. So he was
Mhm.
always around, always
Yeah.
around. But
Hmm.
Yeah,
yeah,
I've
Eric's
been.
had encounters with them, and yeah, all kinds of
Hmm.
stuff.
We have one area right by where I am, called Harrison, and it's just like a hotbed for that activity. It's amazing. It's amazing what we encounter, and like sky watching too. It's just one of those special places. We're going out to I call it this our cold squatching. We're out to go look for stargates out here, and yeah, and I'm like, what are we gonna do when we find it? Like, throw something in there? Are we gonna like tie ourselves to a rope? Like, what's happening? And the team's just like, you're an idiot. I'm like, no, these are questions, like because sometimes we find these things that we look for, and are we
Right.
prepared? Yeah,
Yeah,
I've learned the
exactly.
careful part you
Yeah,
wish
y'all.
for. Yeah.
Yeah, we have another question from Rihanna. It says that she's moving and wants to know what's best for cleansing her home.
Mm, I'll say to go with what your belief system is. What do you believe? My belief is yes, sage. Sage is going to definitely um, mute things, cleanse things, make things nice. But
Yeah,
fill it with your belief. Fill it with your smells. So fill it with your spirit and your family. And yeah, it's amazing um how will intake that energy. So that's the best way to
exactly.
cleanse a house is with your own energy and with your own belief system. Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And a little
Exactly.
sage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the one thing I've learned about sage, and this is also through ceremony, is it's a good cleansing thing, but it's for longevity.
Mhm.
It's best to have sage intermixed with sweetgrass or cedar,
Mhm.
or juniper. Those other three added to it will actually permanently remove something from your home. So sage will cleanse your home, and it'll do about 2-3 weeks worth, and probably
It
keep them
mutes.
at bay if you do it like at least
Mhm.
once a month. Yeah.
Mhm. I
So,
was like,
but
I
at
for
least
total, like, sorry.
no. Go
For like
ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
that total cleanse, I usually like recommend not to go full cleanse right away, because you don't know what is there, or what
Ex-
they just were dealing with as well too. So I
Exactly.
always say let things settle. So that's why I say sage, because it just kind of it mutes it. It'll mute, and then you can kind of, yeah. It's like almost like when you do one of those diets where you take all the food out and then you slowly start adding it back in, and seeing what works for you and what works for your body. It's the same thing with the home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We've talked several times about using sage, cedar, and sweetgrass, and
Hmm.
then once you get it cleansed, take sea salt, make a border around your property, around your house, and then put wrought iron, in the corners of your property in your house.
Hmm. And then lay down some tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah. Can't forget tobacco. Tobacco is a very
Hmm.
important part of any
Mm-hmm.
indigenous culture, believe it or not.
Hmm.
So, well, kinnick is what we used to use too, which is a blend. But have you ever had to deal with any type of trickster spirits?
I feel like I am a trickster spirit, but yes, yes, um, yes, yeah, I have. Like mimickers, I've had as well. But we've, um, yeah, they just that. Ooh, yes, look at them all. Yes, like we have quite a few up here in our area that do like to play around and like to have a little fun. And I have one that like starts messing with me. And will like almost show up in investigations like, oh, we heard you were around. And it's like, oh no. And even now my team is just like, okay, Amanda, you got to back off now because you're bringing in the window, we just call it now. Yeah, the window's open, we'll say. Because
Right.
if you attract these things, they play around and joke, and doesn't mean they're always harmful, but at the same time, like, keep your guard up when it comes to tricksters, because
Right.
there's a lesson there, and it's not going to be an easy one to learn.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
I think Eric's a trickster. Tell you the truth sometimes here. So that's
Hell yeah.
that's why I have Roxanne. That's why I have Roxanne as a moderator in the chat to keep him in line. So
I mean, I've got that.
Yeah.
You remember last winter when I had that new thing show up, which was the only time I've ever been scared on my property. That damn
Did you
thing's
say
back again.
new
Yeah.
thing?
New thing. It's I've
New
dealt
thing.
with. So 32 years I lived with what I call my guest, Bigfoot.
Mhm.
You know, I've had different interactions, you know, vocals and stuff like that. I've got a thermal hit just on the other side of my drive here for I was taking when I was leaned up against my truck of one peeping out behind a tree and coming back in when I was trying to record everything walking around out behind the cedars. But last winter I had something that was following me. It was mimicking my dogs and then scratching the sides of my truck while I was in it, moving around. Well, the other couple weeks ago, I went back out to my truck to go to work because I go to work early in the morning.
Mhm.
I mean, it's still dark when I leave for work, and then not dark when I get home. But I heard it mimic the dog barks again further away, but to the northeast of me.
Mhm.
And then since then, I've had stuff banging on my trunk duck. I hear weird noises. I hear stuff like, hey, or come here. I've heard my
Mhm.
daughter call me, and my daughter's not in, not home, or she's been,
Mhm.
I know she's asleep, but it didn't quite sound like my daughter. So whatever that was here last year has come back.
Mhm. That almost
Yeah.
sounds
sounds
like
like the big
water.
W.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like the water spirits, they will do that. They will mimic your children and get you to follow,
Exactly.
luring you. And that's quite give me the chills because we've had a few cases of that in New Westminster. We're right along a big river that goes, the Fraser River, and like land otter
I got
people.
river I got
Mhm.
river not even an eighth mile from my house, the
There you
Niangua,
go.
which
Yeah.
is well known for Dogman and Bigfoot.
Yeah. So that's that. Yeah. That's wild. Be careful.
And people
Yeah.
think people think I'm crazy for saying that water is a major connection to everything that happens in our world.
Oh yeah,
If you
it
think
is.
about
Yeah.
it, everything we do pertains to water. Everything.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
water is the perfect energy to use or energy source to open portals.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
the laugh like a
Well,
witch's laugh is a huge one too, and that's usually water as well. And it's almost you have to be careful because the further away it sounds means it's closest to you. So as it comes closer,
well,
it's actually going
Exactly.
further away because it's mimicking and it's tricking you. Mhm.
a lot of people forget that water is the blood of Mother Earth. It's very, very
Mhm.
sacred, and that's why you
Yeah.
shouldn't skip rocks. You shouldn't mistreat it. Treat water with
Mhm.
respect, for it's not only the life force of Mother Earth, but it's the life force for us as well. We are connected to it in a very, very strong way, not through just the
Mhm.
connection to Mother Earth, but our physical being as well. So that's why I always tell people respect water.
Mhm.
Hence
It's
why
vital.
we as indigenous people put tobacco on water before we cross it. We thank you for the water spirits and ask them to protect us as we
Mhm.
cross.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we leave the tobacco on top of the water or at the water's edge as a way of
Mhm.
saying thank you. Um, Done that my whole life. Let's get into the haunted objects. Have you ever had to deal with a haunted object at all?
Yes, yes, yes.
Ooh.
Well, one home that I was in up until recently in South Carolina, I was there with my partner at the time, and we had quite the collection of haunted objects. Now, I had a fairly impressive collection, but he had a ridiculously impressive collection, and he'd been around the world investigating. So yeah, we had a room that was just basically dedicated to that, and we kept the door closed. We didn't let our animals in there because it was pretty intense. It got pretty intense. We had haunted we had haunted Ouija boards, and it was kind of one night that we both kind of like stopped and looked at ourselves and said, "This is ridiculous." If we saw anyone else doing this, we would like kick them in the butt. But we had like haunted Ouija boards all over our living room, and we had them out, and we were kind of like playing with them and saying like if any of them were going to do anything, and we're like, man, no, nothing really was working, and they were just kind of like sitting there, and I'm like, we should have put those away. We should be, doing right practices here, and like, yeah, and we kind of gave our heads a shake, and then yeah, kind of walked the line after that. Now we had one out. That was the last one that was out, and it was in between us on the table. And what we were doing is we were trying to see if we could get that, the motor thing with your hands to, if it was that, if we could, any way that we could stabilize our hands so we knew it wasn't our muscles that were moving the planchette, and nothing was happening. There's no answer. There's no anything, no movement of this thing at all. And I said, well, it's kind of weird that the two people that would be able to handle this, you would think, can't even work it. And we kind of had a laugh about that, and we're like, okay, this is your last chance to show us, like, if this is really a haunted Ouija board, show us you're a haunted Ouija board. And at that moment, the entire board, not the planchette didn't move at all. Underneath the planchette, the board like turned sideways and then just shot off the table, and we're both just still sitting there with our hands on the planchette, like going, oh, well, but I guess it was the boards, not the planchette that would have been active. We didn't have anything really adverse, although we lived in a very, very haunted location. Like we, my family, like my ancestors would visit there quite frequently, and my partner would see them. And my partner's ancestors would visit him, and I would see them. But we would never see each other's. And I don't know if that's part of the design, but it was really intense. But we had haunted death whistles. We had haunted. It was pretty ridiculous. I wouldn't recommend it because we also really suffered. Our health suffered. We actually almost lost him to his health, and it really took a toll on it, and it made both of us do that kind of personal like inventory of like what is worth it and what are we doing to our lives, and what are we doing to our happiness with this paranormal, and how can we do this on a better level. And yeah, being around haunted objects all the time, don't recommend it. No, but yes, they are very
true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only thing I haven't dealt with is a divot box, so that's the only thing I haven't dealt with. But other haunted objects, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I hope I have an answer.
No, me and Williams talked about this several times because we're strong believers in this, and it's kind of in the same lines of this question that was just answered here. What's your feelings on picking things up from the woods? Do you think that that's a good thing or a bad thing? Because certain things that's happened.
I think if you're doing things properly, there's a good way and bad way. I don't think that we should just go into the woods and just take whatever we want. I just don't think that that's a good use of resource anyway. I think if we are following proper procedures, follow the rules, people. The things are the things are harvested for a reason, and their things grow for a reason. Like everything that is given to us, we just have to make sure that we're appreciating and giving back to, and taking care of the things that take care of us. So do I think that you should take things out of the forest? Yeah, sometimes you should, but you should do it with intent, and purpose. Like you're going to use it. Yeah, exactly. Don't take too much. Don't take more than you need. And definitely take care of what you just took from. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yep.
we've had issues of stuff, like we've talked about before, that things have been
Mhm.
picked up, and all of a sudden activity is like ran rapid in the house.
Hmm.
For me, I don't like to take things out of the woods unless I have the feeling I meant to. Like this
Hmm.
right here, something told me to come and grab this, and this is straight from my property, which has got a real unique ridge line right here.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, that was like something like that there.
Mhm.
It's I I
Brother,
generally
that's
don't
a
take
rock.
stuff just to take it.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's a rock, but
Mhm.
it's a unique one. It's a heavy bastard too.
But
Um,
isn't that interesting
it's
that something like
Um,
that, you have to, like, it's like you just notice it, and it
mhm,
is, maybe it is just a rock, and but you notice that
mhm.
rock, and that rock is like, take me. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
like there's a reason. Yeah, like exactly. Someone just said, yeah, you're drawn to it. It's a gift. It's supposed to.
yeah.
You're supposed to take it. Yeah.
I'm
Um.
starting
Well,
to
yeah.
wonder what kind of
Mm.
area I live in because every rock I found, the last one I found looks like somebody tried to make it into a pipe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I find them
Wow.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
this
it's
one
just a
here, man.
real
This was
small one, and it's got the hole drilled
yeah.
in it.
Yeah, that's wild. That's so wild. I wish I had a rock. I'm like, I didn't know we were going to show our favorite rocks. Like,
Well, this one here, I was actually following a trail of Bigfoot. A family of Bigfoots is what I was doing. I was following their trails. I had 3 different sizes of footprints, and I was following them. And all of a sudden, I felt, hey, I need to come over here. Hey, Thriller, I need to come over here. So I came over here, started following that feeling, and then when I was told to stop, I looked down, and that thing was right there. I mean, it wasn't like any of the other rocks that was around the area. It was just right there. Had a feeling that I was supposed to take it, so I did.
Something's telling me that somebody in the chat wants to see this picture I got to pop up here real quick of a haunted object. It was mentioned the other day on a podcast, and it is Robert the doll.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you think of that one there, Amanda?
There's something like oddly unsettling about Robert the doll, and I don't know what it is. Like Annabelle is Annabelle, but Robert the doll, I think there's something there. I honestly do. Like, just even through a picture, there's an energy from. Yeah, I don't know if I would mess with that doll.
You can tell.
Yeah,
You can tell that that's got some kind of like just dark cloud over it,
Yeah, like there's
So.
like you can tell someone's energy when you're around them, and that doll's got energy. It's not just an object. Like there's something there. Hmm.
There's something definitely part of it. Yeah, you're correct. You're definitely correct. What about you, Eric? What do you think about Robert the doll?
I don't know a whole lot about him, but that picture does give you some creepy vibes. Is it just because it looked? That is a possibility. I have to throw that aspect into it. I can't. I'd be doing it just justice if I did not. But it does have a strange energy field about it. So I mean, it could be. I mean, it really could be something like Annabelle.
There's another doll.
Of course,
too. There's another doll too that's pretty well known, and that's Lily. Lily the doll is a pretty well known doll
damn
too.
thing creeps me out right there. Oof.
Lily, look at your
that
dress.
That is something I wouldn't want to wake up at the end and see. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that at the end of my bed. That's for sure.
That's how I wake up. It's me when I wake up. Like, yeah. We have one in British Columbia here. We have Mandy the doll. Up, I believe in Quesnel. Yeah, we have a doll in a museum. It's actually in the public museum. It's a haunted doll called Mandy. I don't know too much about Mandy, but next time I'm up there, I'm gonna go check her out. I know a lot of the teams around here have, but yeah. I had some haunted dolls myself.
Well, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me ask you this real quick. I don't hate to interrupt you, but do you think that naming an object gives it power to be possessed by a spirit?
That's a great question. I don't. I think that sometimes, maybe. I'm going to go with a strong maybe on that. I am Cree.
Strong maybe.
Strong maybe. I've also had I've had a doll who wouldn't calm down until I named her. She needed that name, and it was
Whoa.
her name I had to get. So so did it give her power? Possibly, but also gave her peace. So yes. But yes, I kind of answered another question in the middle of that question. But yeah, no, I am Cree. I'm Plains Cree from Manitoba. Yeah, and
Manitoba.
Manitoba. Yeah.
Gotta pronunciate it.
Yeah.
That's
Look at
like
you
that's
go,
like when
Corey.
we say Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah.
Minnesota.
I always, yeah, I always ask people if they want me to talk when I go on podcasts, if they want me to talk in my English voice or my native voice.
Yeah. No, it's good. Slow down. I'm like, yeah.
I speak redneck. That's about it. Try to pronounce anything else, I'm about as lost as a goose in a hailstorm, man. I'm just a damn hillbilly.
When I lived in South Carolina, that was like I'd come back to Canada. People were like, "You're in Canada again. Like, calm it down." And I'm like, "What?" Because Amanda from Canada. I was like, I would just like I went hillbilly so quickly, and it's just I loved it there. I was just like the mumble talk. I got it. I could understand everything, and I started to do it. I came back just mumbling everything. I was like,
yeah, man.
That was amazing. I loved it. I was
lived,
like, yeah, I'm with my people.
I live deep in the woods, man. I'm surrounded by woods. I love it. You know, it just
Great.
ain't no other living than that. You know,
Yeah.
I ain't got the noises of the concrete jungle. I ain't got none of that crap. I'm out here with the trees and the spirits and everything. You know, I'm happy.
Yeah. It was wild the first,
And not just the spirits that come in the jar either, huh?
I mean, I know, yeah. I was just gonna say the first time
I'm running low on.
First time Canadian had some real moonshine. Like,
yeah, I've got just a snippet of. I got one itty bitty snort, which is about this much in a mason jar of green apple shine left, and I've been savoring it because I was like, "Oh, you look so good." I love my shine.
Yeah.
I love my mead too.
It's amazing though, like the process that goes into making it. I became absolutely obsessed. Yeah. With tasting it.
I was obsessed with watching moonshiners on TV. The Moonshiners program on TV with Popcorn Sutton. I was obsessed with that. And then he died. He went and died on us, and you know, a whole history was lost when Popcorn Sutton died. He was just phenomenal as far as a moonshiner goes. So very famous.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Now I get mine from.
Anyways, anybody got any questions?
I got connections.
I'll message you later. No.
Yes, you want it, I get it. Don't know how I'm going to ship it to you, but I get it.
Roxanne says hillbillies rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, it's I just brain farted. Now, so, me and William talk about all the time that being connected with your roots, your bloodline, the spirits, and with nature is something that is like very important when it comes to dealing with this stuff. Like people ask all the time, like I've went into places that I've asked to come into because some strange activity has happened. And for me, I mean, I don't know how it is for anybody. For me, I feel an energy and I follow that path of energy. And it usually leads me to something. I'm going, this is what's causing your problems. I don't know how it is for other people, but that's for me how it's been, how I've been able to find something in the house that's had something attached to it. And usually I tell them, like, you need to get rid of this or cleanse this or something. How's that for you?
Yeah, I think I've followed like the same kind of thought pattern with that. I think there's like almost like a clear cognizance with things that you just kind of know. Full blood asshole tribe. Okay. I don't know why I read that out loud, like, but it really spoke to me. But yeah, there's
Oh, Corey.
Yeah, yeah. I think that things do speak to you, and they're going to ask for what they need as well too. So it's like cleansing things or clearing energies from items that you're going to, that intuition you have, you know when to and when not to. Yeah, a hillbilly goat.
Right.
I love this.
Well, we got about 1 cup left, everybody, just so you know.
Yeah, I saw someone else's. Someone said their
empty.
great grandfather was Cree,
Okay.
so that's we're cousins then. Whoever's great grandfather was Plains Cree.
I'm a mutt.
Yeah.
I am 100% mutt. I like it. I'm Cherokee, Comanche, Lakota, German, Irish, English, Scottish, Norwegian, and my primary bloodline's Norwegian.
Wow.
Yeah, my on the
You got a lot of
Comanche
traveling to
side, yeah, on the Comanche side, you know the John Wayne movie, The Searchers. Have you ever seen?
No, I should watch more John Wayne.
Yeah, it's that is based off my cousin. She was married to the last Comanche chief to ever surrender.
Wow.
The difference between the movie and reality is when she was rescued, she wasn't happy, and she died 2 weeks after being rescued. She didn't want to be rescued, but her husband was the last Comanche chief to ever surrender.
Oh wow.
And then, yeah, as far as the bloodline on Norse, on one side of my Norse bloodline, we hail from Ragnar Lothbrok through Ivar the Boneless. But I've got two sides of my family that came from Norway to here.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm trying to research a lot. I've got a lot of family up in Red Rock, in which I'm trying to learn, but trying to talk to them because I'm not part of Red Rock becomes kind of hard, even though we're family. But I've been trying to research a lot of my bloodline because I think it's important. I've always said this on here, on my show. I tell it to my kids all the time is you need to know your bloodline, your past, because your bloodline's your past. You need to know your past to help you for the present and the future.
The only thing I like about John Wayne is the powwow song for John
John Wayne.
I don't know if you know it. Do you know what I mean?
The
Yeah.
John Wayne. Yeah.
John
I was actually
Wayne
just.
John Wayne, hey, are they plastic? Are they steel?
Like some smoke signals there.
Hey, Deidre.
Yeah, that's amazing. Actually, so John Wayne, my father, my biological father was his last name was Wayne, and he put on his for his emergency contact next of kin, he put John Wayne, as in John Wayne the actor. So when he passed, someone in the hospital I don't know if it was a hospital, the police station, they knew this is Patrick Wayne, this is John Wayne's child. So John Wayne does have a child named Patrick, and he is an actor as well, and he does like the Western movies and all this. I think he's about 80 years old. So he now has had 2 death hoaxes because when my father passed, someone called TMZ or who have you, or like IMDb, and reported him that pass over in Canada, and yeah, it was my dad. Now my dad was a bit of a trickster himself, so yeah, he would have liked that. He would have liked that quite a lot. So that's my connection to John Wayne through family. Yeah, like, but if you research Patrick Wayne death hoax, yeah, people got really upset about it. Like, what kind of sick person would do a joke like this? I'm like, yeah, my dad. But but yeah, it was kind of. He actually did reach out and send his condolences as well. So that was really respectful because he did have to.
Well, we weren't called savages for nothing there, Amanda. You know that. Savage means that we can be physically savage, but we can also be mentally cruel.
Oh, like our wit. Ooh, yeah. I do think some of the funniest people, all of us actually. Yeah, the sense of humor with the Indigenous people is just amazing, and yeah, savage.
Yeah. Especially since the Indigenous people in Canada and America, and even South America, for that matter,
Mm-hmm.
have gone through so much over the years
Mm-hmm.
with having to
Yeah.
struggle with. I mean, I wasn't allowed to do my sweats and stuff and my amblasia and
Mm-hmm.
my Sundance until the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
We had to do them in secret. And I remember going to sweat lodge as a youngster with armed guards around the
Mm-hmm.
sweat lodge encampment because they wanted to make sure that the FBI or the state police or the National Guard weren't going to come
Mm-hmm.
in and try to break it up and arrest
Mm-hmm.
everybody. So that I remember them days. I'm a member of the American Indian movement. So by the
Mm-hmm.
way, Leonard Peltier was granted clemency
It
recently
was.
by
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, which is
They
that's
not
a
to cut you off
win-win there.
real quick. Thriller, thank you, dude. You're awesome.
Oh,
We
thank you,
got a super
Thriller.
sticker of $4.99 from
Thank you,
Thriller.
Thriller. That's awesome.
Super sticker. I don't
That's
know what that
awesome.
is,
Thank you,
but
Thriller. Man.
yeah, it's kind of yeah.
It
I
helps
think it's
pay for the equipment
that's
and
so
all that.
cool. Yeah, yeah. I like the it's the resiliency. The resiliency of the people is amazing. And yeah, it was up here. It was illegal to do any sort of ceremony, speak your language, to potlatches. Everything were completely no. So, and I think that that's always a good perspective to have. It wasn't that long ago. It was, this is the 80s we're talking about. And so when people get really bent out of shape about like cultural appropriation and
Right.
such, it's just like, well, if I'm not allowed to do it, why are you? And that's really, or I can't do it because it was stolen from me.
Exactly.
Why can
Yeah.
you? So it's a really kind of it's still a sensitive
Yeah.
thing, especially up in Canada. But it's important that to recognize how far we've come and how far we have to go. It's like you got to take that with a little humor too. It's oh, it's just going to be too serious, and it's going to
Yeah.
be oh my god, it's going to weigh us down. So even with the ghost
Yeah,
stuff,
that's true.
it was hard for me to be an investigator and be Indigenous because it was like neither side was quite okay with it, and it's you don't do that, and you don't talk about spirit, and you don't it's like you don't talk about traditions, you don't talk about ceremony or culture. And that was so hard for me because I want to educate people and I want to evolve somehow and I want to learn my own culture, but I do also respect it now. So that was the thing that I needed to learn, was just like how to respect and do it well and do it in a way that is educational and yeah, like fruitful for the culture.
Yeah.
You can't take if you're not giving back.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah. See, like for me growing up, my family were Mormon. I wasn't a part of the order. My mom's side of the family was, her mom and dad was expelled from the Mormon order due to certain things. And then I had to deal with the Smith side of my family being into black magic. So, I mean, I never had anybody teach me my native, ways or my Norse ways. Every now and then we will get hints of it. Family would slip up and then, you learn, caught you type deal, or
Yeah.
I had to learn on my own, and one thing I've learned from my studies is like, so in the Norse side of it, we have what we call seers, where that on the Native American side, that'd be more like medicine men. But there's a lot of seers on my North side of my family, on not my Testament side, but the black side. The blacks, they had a lot of seers within and their side of the Norse family. Which the Native American comes from the Testament side, but I know the similarities, and I've noticed that people who have that type of bloodline within them, people that was really predominant in our family with the medicine side or the seer side, they seem to be more active in being able to sense things or see things versus other people. I don't know if it's because even though the brainwashing took it away from some, because of our past, our history, it's the reason why it didn't hit us as much. I was kind of wondering what you thought on that.
It's fascinating because I was just thinking while you were speaking about the two cultures. I've always thought are so similar and so alike, and there's a reason why both have such importance on braids in their hair. there's so much together. Yeah, seers right there, spirit walkers with us. It's wild how cultures that are so far apart can be so similar, and even like with different areas and different communities, like throughout, like on Turtle Island here, that have the same creation stories, the same belief systems, the same everything, and how intertwined everything is. I think that's what you're kind of asking, but it always comes back. It flows back. It's been taught out of us, and but there's that blood memory. We all have that blood memory, something that's inside that we recognize, and we recognize it in each other. That ties us all together and braids us back together. Yeah, so that's when you were talking and telling me that story, I was just like, I just was thinking braids and hair. I just had this I had a vision. I had a seer vision. No, but I was like, that's all I could think about, was just like both sides of your family. Braids were important in the past and now and still, and that's what brings us all together.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize. I mean, like my hat band, I have certain beads and stuff that go on here because each one of these symbolizes something thing. And this is the type of stuff we'd wear in our beards and our hair. And, this has got both Native American and Norse attributes to it, but I can't grow hair no more. So, and I can't, this is 12 years, no shave, no trim. That's all I can do. Yeah. It's funny, my primary bloodline. I've got more Norse bloodline in me than I do anything else, but the native side I can't grow. This right here, you can't see it. This is 3 weeks no shave right here. I know you can't even see it, but I can feel it.
It's like a baby's butt.
But yeah, I do. If I shave all this off, I get carded for tobacco and alcohol. I'm like, y'all, I'm 45 damn years old. Come on. I have a baby face. But no, I've just through my research, my living life, I've kind of noticed that with people in that bloodline seem to be more in tuned with the spirits and with both the good, the bad. Is it our ancestors, or is it the fae or something like that? We're more in tune to that, the cryptid side of it as well than it seems to be everybody else. And that's why I was always like, it has to be because of what our past lives are, because I'm a big believer. Say my great grandfather was a medicine man, then some of them traits are passed down into me through that bloodline coming down, and that's why I was always curious about that.
Well, I truly believe that we inherit things from our from people that pass. We inherit parts of their personality as well. I truly do believe that. So why wouldn't we, inherit the gifts as well? I mean, I guess it's all gifts. Not your personality, but yeah. So I do think that it is through our bloodlines, and we're also like I've said a few times, like belief system is so important. And as long as you're strong to what you believe in, I think a lot of us are told what to believe, or told how to believe it, and how to practice that belief. And I think that's what's kind of holding people back. I think there's a lot more people who are talentedly gifted when it comes to spirit, but aren't able to speak out, or in fear of they'll be called crazy, and in fear of getting ostracized and such. And that's kind of why it's important for me to make a safe place. And like through Cold Spotters, that's what we do, is create a safe place for people to learn, so people learn how to do it, and also get help if they need it, without judgment and without fear, right? It's like we have to make sure that we're all comfortable. Without that comfortability and then without that security, we're screwed. We're all screwed. Yeah, so we got to do better with each other, because it is out there. Yeah. It's all around us.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, because me and William we're all connected in one way or another. William, I have nothing but mad love for my brother William, and he's such an inspiration, and he's helped me to learn things that I was fuzzy on. Because I'm pretty much self-taught on both my Native American side and my Norse side, because like I said, my family didn't like to speak of it. Even though it slipped up, they didn't like to speak of, but sometimes you learn and you'll catch certain things. But my good brother here, William, I'm truly blessed that I'm a firm believer we were put on our path together for a reason. And so, I mean, I'm truly blessed on that aspect. Like I started a new book the other night, and it was heavy on my heart. I was messaging him, I was like, look, hey, man, this is what's going on, which was weird because I literally had an owl pass in front of me when I was driving home. Like, this is what started the conversation. And then shortly later, all of a sudden, I got this inspiration to write this book. So, I mean, I've been talking with him nonstop because it's like, look, I'm familiar, but I'm not as knowledgeable as my brother here. And so I've had to lean on him when it comes to this because I don't want to do it just justice. I'm a big believer not doing it just justice. So
well, I'm glad you have that connection.
Link to your YouTube channel. Amanda, they want to know, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do not have a YouTube channel, but I'll get one immediately. No, I don't have one. That's something that we are talking about, but I'll definitely, yeah, there's going to be a lot more of me. Yeah, you ain't seen the last of me out there. So I'll make sure that I give you guys all my links and everything. But yes, like, yeah, your new book will be really good. I think so too. I think like what you're saying is so inspirational, and for you to search out your culture and your both sides, I think that's important to let people know that that they can do that and that you did that. Like that's awesome, and I'm glad you had William to help you along the way. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Oh, Erie's here.
Yeah,
the cat.
Now I kind of feel bad because now I'm like, oh man, I would love to have you on my show tonight to talk about this paranormal research investigation I just did the other day, because I would love to get your insight on everything I found too, because I love, and this is the thing, me and William talk about this all the time. It's like, you look, me and him don't always agree eye to eye on things in this bizarre world, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Brothers usually don't.
This is
yeah, it's important. It's important that we don't agree on everything. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine if we did?
Oh God, and that's what I tell people all the time. It's like, dude, if we thought the same, looked the same, acted the same, it'd be a pretty damn boring world.
Yeah, we would just end up doing the same thing. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd love to get your aspect on it, because tonight's show that I'm doing is going to be over the investigation, which I'm putting the video together and all that. That's why I've got these on, because I was listening to stuff, and that's how William scared the crap out of me, because I had that software up going through that video, and I had him in the background. And I'm just like, oh, damn it. That's William.
Well, I played Dungeons and Dragons till 4, and then I'm free. So.
Oh, what? Hey. I'm actually doing. Haven't had time. I'm putting together an online Dungeons and Dragons deal for a lot of us people to get together and play online.
Oh, that was so awesome. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I've always played a barbarian dwarf.
I'm a barbarian halfling. Oh my God.
Oh, dude!
Yeah, that's hilarious.
No, I love this stuff, and I just haven't had time to work on it because I've been busy. I work for a government entity, so I mean, this is wintertime, our busy time. So,
there I am,
dude. That's cool.
That's me.
I want one.
I don't know how.
That's cool. Actually, what's funny was I was writing the backstory of Ulfar, right? And when I was writing the backstory, next thing you know, I've got like 2 or 3 chapters of this written. I was like, I just started a book, Ulfar for the Barbarian. So I love that stuff, but. No, I was just kind of curious about that because I love other people's opinions on stuff, and for me, when I'm doing paranormal investigations, yes, am I looking to see what else is there? What's there, what's tied to? I want to know their story. And that's one thing I've always asked them, what is your story? I'm here to hear your story, and there's several times I'll go into the place and they'll ask me, am I dead? And I'll have to say, sadly, you are. I'm sorry that you are. What is the last thing you remember? Because I'm trying to get their story. it's not just, hey, I found a ghost. I want your story. I want to get your story out to the people. Are you still hanging around here because you have a message that you need to pass on to somebody? If it is, give it to me and I will try to give it to them. Is that something kind of like what you do as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Or it's like what's the next step? Like what can we learn from this really? Yeah. Like is there a reason that you're here? We have one case. It's a mansion out here, and beautiful mansion. And there's a little girl. There's a little girl in there, and she likes to play hide and seek, and she likes to kind of she's play and sing, and I've heard her giggle, like she's having fun in there. And then there's like a kind of a roving cast of characters that's in there with her. So sometimes there's a guy in there with her, sometimes it's a soldier, sometimes it's a woman, sometimes it's a nun, like all these different kind of people that we get reports of. We've had the coughing man, and it's never like a coughing man and the woman and the little girl. So we've had mediums in there at different times, different years that have never spoken to each other, and they all tell us the same thing. It's the little girl that's haunting in there, and the other ones that are coming are just there to take care of her. So it's almost like a babysitting ring. And I'm like, it's so wild that there's still this care going on in spirit world, and why is she there? Why does she stay and they can come and go? What is it? What's happening there? And it's interesting because now we're at a stage where I'll do EVPs, or we're not getting as many responses directly as we were, let's say 2-3 years ago. But our team kind of completely changed. So I don't know if they're just now watching. So we'll get we get disembodied a lot. But we also get the EVPs of them talking about us. So it's a little girl saying, what is she doing? Is she laughing? And then you hear me in the background, ha, 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 ha. And then there's a male saying, yes, she laughed. And it's like, oh, okay. So I try to look at that as like, what are they trying to teach me? Am I being disrespectful? Am I stepping on toes? So now that I'm hearing them talk about us, like I do pay attention. And I'm like, okay, like what can we do? Like, what can we do to help this communication? Because it's not just about whether or not there's something there, or there's energy there, or if there's a ghost there. It's like, okay, what are they trying to say? Like, how can we better this communication? And that's sometimes it's us, and sometimes it's they don't want to talk to us because we're not we're provoking the wrong way. Yeah. So
Every now and then, Eric and I will break out the equipment and we'll do like a spur of the moment thing on the podcast live, where we ask spirit questions, and we've had some very, very weird responses and stuff, and some very, very amazing stuff happen. So what's the most amazing thing you've ever actually heard as far as like an EVP goes?
I would think as far as the EVPs, is conversations like about us, like kind of as I was just explaining. I always think that that's wild when you catch that, and like what are they doing? And but you hear their relationship and their kind of like the way that they talk to each other. And I find that so wild and fascinating because it's like they're observing us, trying to observe them. It's like how can they see us? And how do they see us? And like, it's not like they're trying to say like, prove to us you're there where we are. And it's, so I always find that it's like, so when we can get any sort of EVPs of other interactions with other than us, that's wild. They're like full sentences and replies. And it's, And when it changes.
I did a location in Maryland one time. That is well known for like the Civil War, and just outside of Gettysburg battlefield, and also known for the area for like the Revolutionary War. And I actually recorded on an EVP the old fife and drum that the Revolutionary War used to do, and the Southern the Army, the Confederate soldiers used to do the fife and drum also. And I've got about probably 5 or 10 minutes of that straight recorded right off of an EVP.
Wow. That's wild. Like that's yeah. It's like yeah. I love EVPs. EVPs. Yeah. No, I love
Yeah.
EVPs. That's my like audio is my absolute jam. Like I and disembodied. Like I'm really fascinated right now with well, not the difference, but why when I record a disembodied voice versus an EVP is completely clear, and a disembodied voice when I replay it sounds mechanical. And I'm like, but the thought pattern on that is like completely the other way. So I'm like, what's I yeah, there's my rabbit hole I'm down right now. And just like with just with that just like sound in general, like how we're perceiving things versus like what's going on. Like is everything that moves make a sound kind of thing. It's I love EVPs. I love yeah. EVPs are my thing. I rock the DR60. I know a lot of people don't love them, but I love them. I absolutely love them. And I keep mine. I don't let anyone else touch it. I sit and I watch TV with it in my little hands. I try to put as much as my energy into it as I can. And it's amazing how you can go from just a to like clear voices when you actually treat your equipment with that same respect too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes.
Well, anybody else got any questions for our guest, Amanda? Let's see here. Anybody in chat want to ask Amanda a question? Uh-oh, what's
They're having a conversation about bloodline.
Yeah. I think I saw something. I think somebody was saying that they were like from the east or eastern woodland, like if they're Anishinaabe or if they was it that from Canada? I'm not too sure, but Canada. See,
sorry,
I'm talking American again. I'm American again. I'm American Indian born in Canada. Actually, that's my status in America. Is I'm American Indian born in Canada. I'm like, yeah. Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do believe that people can channel spirit through them. And I think that's I like if you think about like spiritualism and I want to go back there for like a day or two and just like see the like ectoplasm. I want to see that. I want to see like those kind of channeling and then this ectoplasm. Wow, we're getting to the end of the interview because I'm getting I need my nap. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I do think that like people doing the Estes method and things like that. Like there's connections with all of that. But I do want to see things come out of people's nose, like ectoplasm.
When you said ectoplasm,
let's make that clear. Let's make sure that we say that we'd like to see spirit smoke coming out of people's nose, not something else.
Yeah.
When you said ectoplasm, my mind automatically went to the first Ghostbusters movie, Ray. I found him. Just slimed to me.
So you want to get slimed? I'm like, well, no. I just want to see it. Yeah.
Deidre said she wanted to say thank you to you for your knowledge and sharing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, this has been a great show today.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna have you back, Amanda, because heck, I might even we might even do like maybe a multi-location live at the same time. Maybe that'd be a good idea to do.
That would be so cool.
Do like a live where you're at and a live where Eric's at and a live where I'm at and see what happens,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm down for sure. And I'd love to come on with Kayla and Nathan. They're my little Indigi crew here, and we're actually going to be doing a lot of filming in the next little bit. So we'll be busy, but I would love to bring them on and introduce you guys to them. Nathan's my son, and Kayla's like she's our greenhorn right now, but she's absolutely amazing energy.
Are they with you now?
They're not here now, no, but next time I'll make sure that I'll drag them along. Yeah. I'm the mama bear.
Okay. I was going to say if they are, but I want to thank you, Amanda, very much for being here today. It's been great, and it's been it's been a good conversation because, there's a lot of questions out there about, spirit hunting, ghost hunting, whatever you want to call it, and the paranormal. And I think we covered quite a good amount. And I'm going to allow Eric to ask the last question on here, and then we're going to go ahead and do the closing. And we're definitely going to bring you back on, okay? And I think we should coordinate that multiple live at the same time. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be, count me in.
The last question. Let me see. I had one, then I forgot it. I got sidetracked. Now I forgot what it was. So I noticed for me, like a lot of times, because I do paranormal, supernatural, and cryptid investigations. I love this type of stuff. This is what drives me. And I'm as giddy as a little schoolgirl every time I get it because I love the interaction with this stuff. And so I this is going to be outside of the paranormal range. Why do you believe that some people get like a lot of interactions with our elder big brothers than others? Like for me, man, I've constantly got stuff going almost every single day out here. Every time before my mom passed away and my dad bought the property and dad moved out, we only seen our guest from mid to late fall to early to mid spring. And then since they've been gone, I have stuff that happens every single day. But I was never shown them as a threat. I was always at peace with them. Part of the same community, I guess you could say. I mean, we lived in peace together, and that's why I figured that's why it is. But why do you think some people get more activities than others?
Well, I think you like nail on the head there. You lived in peace with it, and you showed the respect, and you had that connection already. There's a lot of different kind of theories of thought on that of why certain people. I think that there is a bit of a hereditary and dare I say star-seedish reason that some people are a little bit more connected than others. Like not to open a whole nother rabbit hole for us all jumped into, but I think that some of us are just we were born here, but we're not from here, so.
That's cool, man.
Well, again, I want to thank everybody in the chat for being here. And Amanda, I want you to before we close this out, and I'll let Eric continue what he was saying, but I want to give you the opportunity to share with people what you got going on, if you have going on and coming up, and if you're gonna be doing your own lives and stuff during investigations, and how they can actually find you, because I know a lot of people in the chat are gonna want to follow you on Facebook or whatnot because of your knowledge. So
well, I am on Facebook, Amanda Quill, or AQ Amanda Quill, I believe my page is right now. Cold Spotters Paranormal. I think that we have so many teams, but I'm part of the Vancouver team mostly. I'm in all of them, so if you see my face, it's me. But that's the easiest way to reach out to me. I'm on Instagram. I'm not really on Twitter or anything, but yes, there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out. So we're at coldspotters.ca, but the website's just coming. It's under construction. I'm a work in progress, people. No, but we coming up. I don't know what all I can really reveal right now. Just due to certain things, but we are in the process of filming, so there will be a lot more to show soon. Yeah.
Awesome. And Eric, what were you going to say there before I interrupted you?
Yeah, no worries. I just added you on Facebook, by the way, Amanda, on my author's Facebook, and not my personal one, my author's one. I wanted to personally thank you for coming on. It's been truly a treasure and a blessing hearing your side of things. I just could have sworn to seen an orb fly past you. That's the second time now I've seen that. And that's why I went earlier. I was doing that because I could have swore I seen one fly back past you earlier. But I personally want to thank you. I mean, it's truly been an honor and a blessing. I can't wait to have you back on again. This is great. I mean, this is the stuff that I live for, that my brother William lives for. We love people's input, insight in their adventures and their knowledge and their experiences, because we're a firm believer. We don't know what these things are fully. We know the history, but your experiences, I think, explains more than theory. You need theory in this field. Don't get me wrong. Without theory, there cannot become fact. You have to have theory. But where the fact comes in to turn that theory into fact is experience. So I love hearing other people's experiences.
Yeah, me too. A storyteller when it comes right down to it, you know.
Yeah, we're going to have to bring Amanda back on one of our Bigfoot shows sometime and have her really go into detail about her Bigfoot encounter.
Heck yeah. And you're always welcome. You're always welcome to come on my show at any time. I'm the Bizarre and the Unknown. If you find that logo, that's me. You're more than welcome to come on there as well. I love this type of stuff. You know, usually I'm doing stuff solo. Every now and then I'll get somebody to come on with me. But you know, I'm sure William will, you know, he pretty much said it too. You got an open invitation to this show. You have an open invitation to mine as well.
Oh,
Thank you, Daryl.
Thank you, Miigwech. Thank you.
Exactly. Yep. Miigwech.
I see that someone was from Vancouver Island. I'll be over there soon. So.
Yeah, Deidre.
Yeah.
I need to get up to Canada.
You'll have to,
I really need to get up there and do some investigations.
Yeah.
If you're ever down this way, here I live in Southwest Missouri. If you're ever down this way, man, I'll take you on an investigation anytime. I love that type of stuff. And usually, I'm sorry, William. Usually I'm doing stuff solo. I'm getting to the point where I'm bringing more people in with me because I'm so used to doing it by myself. But I see the advantages of have somebody with you. So you're more than welcome. I'll take you. I'm getting ready to do a investigation of a haunted cave that runs people out all the time. They get a really bad feeling on the Arkansas-Missouri border, and they've never had a paranormal investigation team in here. This is an abandoned mansion in Duncan, British Columbia.
Right
Deidre,
there.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, I love this type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually going to be in KC soon, so
I think Deidre's inviting
you. Well, when we're
I think
Deidre's
inviting Amanda to. Yeah, definitely.
And you're also welcome.
All right, guys. Well, I'm out of coffee, and I want Amanda to know that she does have an open invitation anytime. And I am really interested in trying to do that multiple lives at the same time. If we can figure out how to coordinate it, that'd be pretty cool to do online. Yeah. So
we would have to do it on one
have any
platform.
Ideas about that? Let us know. Yeah.
We would pretty much have to do that on one streaming platform. That'd be about the only way to do it connected, like we're doing now.
Right.
Except for just sitting here drinking coffee, we're actually out in the field doing stuff. That'd be about the only way to do it.
Right, exactly. All right. All right, Amanda. Well, thank you very much, sister. And if you all need anything with cold spotters, just hit me up and hit Eric up, and we'll be here for you guys. Okay.
All right.
And tell the crew, tell your crew that we send our love and our blessings. So I want to thank you again for being here. It's been great.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Bye. Bye. I'm going to disappear now into this.
Bye-bye. Oh, where'd she go? Where'd she go?
She disappeared.
She bloop. She went bloop.
She said she was heading out, so she disappeared into the sun. So
yeah.
Everybody, thank you for coming in today.
Show, everybody. Yeah, that was a fantastic show. I just can't get over, the questions that you all had in the chat was great. By the way, I appreciate everybody in the chat, and thank you for all your support and please like, heart, and share this out as much as you guys can. And let's get that subscription up too. If we can do that, that'd be great. Well, I'll put my email in the chat then, so you know. If anybody needs to get a hold of me, they can get a hold of me through my email. Okay. Or they can direct message me on Facebook. It doesn't matter either way. But it's lakotaman333@gmail.com. And Eric can put his email in the chat too if he wants.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go, while Eric does that, I'm going to go over what we got going on coming up. This Friday night will be Into the Red Rabbit Hole. The following week, we're going to be doing the Midnight Monsters instead of the Red Rabbit Hole podcast. That way, you know. And then, of course, our regular Saturday and Sunday morning shows. But I'm really, really interested in doing that multiple live investigation at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, I think that'd be pretty cool, especially if we can get spirit to interact on all the locations with each other. But let's see here.
Mine didn't pop up on this end, but it looks like it's in the chat on the YouTube side.
Why didn't it pop up on this end?
I don't know. I guess let me type it in on here. Just
You
to
should
make
be
sure.
able to.
I typed it on straight on.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we've got, like I said, Into the Red Rabbit Hole. We're going to be going down the proverbial rabbit hole with several different topics. We're going to be talking about the old Y2K phenomena back in 2000 and the 2012 phenomenon, and basically how there's this belief that we all passed away during one of those events and how we are just like energy living in an avatar body. So it's going to be pretty interesting, and we're going to connect a couple dots and stuff, and we're going to see where it takes us. So it's going to be pretty interesting on Friday night at 11 o'clock at night, Eastern time. And then, like I said, Saturday and Sunday morning, we've got the Morning Paranormal Brew Show, where we just sit around and drink coffee and talk. You know, occasionally we have great guests, and occasionally you'll be stuck with my ugly ass and Eric. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. We have fun either way. So I think we have fun. So.
Heck yeah. Roxanne, thanks for your help today on the show. Everybody give hey you. Well, thank you for coming. Roxanne, everybody give a hand to Roxanne as our mod. She's awesome. We're truly blessed to have her as a mod.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're gonna cover quite a few different subjects, and next time on Midnight's Monsters, we're going to be covering the Mothman, the Big W, and also the Big S walkers. Okay, just so you all know, those will be the three subjects we're starting on the next Midnight Monsters, which is, well, it would have been 2 weeks from this Wednesday. Okay, so just so you all know, first and third Wednesday of every month, Midnight Monsters on Wednesday nights at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Okay, is the start time, and the second and fourth Friday of every month is when we're going to have Into the Red Rabbit Hole. So that's how I decided to break it up, so I'm not getting burned out. So, all righty, Eric, you want to let them know what's going on with your show tonight, bro? And
yeah, so tonight, episode 56 is going to be about the paranormal investigation I just did at the Springfield Commercial Club in Springfield, Missouri, on Commercial Street. That's why these headsets are on, because I've literally been working on these videos, cutting out voices that wasn't caught on the EVP. I've already got like 3 of them already on just one video. I'm trying to look for different stuff. So I'll have some evidence that I will present during the show tonight, but pretty much answering questions. I'll play a little bit from the EVPs that I captured as well. So that is the plan
And the
for
haunted
tonight.
coffee pot. The haunted coffee pot will be the haunted object.
that was epic. I was like, oh, something's playing with my camera. It literally, when you first popped on live, it sounded like something was messing with my mic, and I was getting excited. I was like, ah, then I heard the blah, 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 blah. I was like,
it's a demonic growl.
Oh, it's William. No, it's great. I've got a lot of stuff. I did revamp my Patreon. I know Griff had asked yesterday if I had something like the Alpha Reader. So I did create a program. Now, it does cost $10 because I want people that's actually legitimate interested in reading my writings and giving me an input, and not somebody just wants to read it. Because I do this for you guys, so I value your input. So it is $10 to be an Nahayar reader, which is the name of the tier. And so how I've got this vamped, if I have a book that I've not published yet, that is only visible on that tier. And then everything else would be on the A-Seer tier, the $3 a month one. So if you're interested in being in Hayar, go to my Patreon.
Yeah. Again, I want everybody to go full force and support Eric, because he's really trying. I mean, he's putting forth more of an effort than I've seen a lot of people put forth in this book writing. And you got what, 3 or 4 of them started at the same time.
Oh, dude, I got more than that. I've got about 7 going right now. Now I did. I sent you chapter 1. I haven't had a chance to make the corrections on the prologue yet. I did email you chapter 1, so that is to you. And I've got about 2.5 pages of chapter 2 written already. I did do a little bit of writing on it last night. I had to take a break from all this video stuff because it was jacking with me. So I did work a little bit on that last night too. So I do have 2.5 pages of chapter 2 written as well. Now I haven't sent you the edited version. I haven't went through and edited chapter 1 yet. So it's an unedited version, but it gives you a look at where my mind is going with this book on chapter 1.
Right. Awesome. All right. Well, there you go, folks. If you can catch Eric today on his show on the Bizarre and Unknown channel, subscribe to his channel, please. Okay. We without you guys, without our family in the chat and our family as far as subscribers go, we would be nothing. And Roxanne, I owe you $1 million, my friend. You are phenomenal as far as a mod goes, and as far as a friend goes, you're outstanding, and I appreciate the hell out of you. So I just want you to know that. And all of our mods, Tracy also, she's a mod. So it's like without everybody in the chat working together and stuff, and the conversations and the questions were phenomenal today. Absolutely phenomenal. So thank you, everybody in the chat. And with that being said, I'll see you all Friday night. Okay. And probably see you all in the chat too on Eric's channel today. Take care, everybody.
Peace, love, and blessings, everyone.